Three Grots in a Vox is intended for a mature audience. This means there will be crude language and discussions of adult themes, especially if we're talking about tactical marines or Gabriel Seth. Viewer discretion is not only advised but encouraged. All opinions are our own and often given for humorous purposes. Any advice is given largely for entertainment purposes and would probably be ignored. But if you do learn something useful, count it as a win.
Alright, good evening and welcome to Three Grots in a Vox special.
Hello! Hi, Dr. Nick!
Today we are looking at the Space Marine Detachments.
Sorry, we're not going to address the Dr. Nick thing.
This is from a very old episode of The Simpsons.
It was. That was what I know it's from somewhere.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Dr. Nick?
I don't know.
I think you just want to derail the start of this episode.
I never do that. Don't know what you mean.
I've got beer. It's called a Rheingeist.
You want to derail the start of the
Orange
episode.
juice from one bag of oranges? The juice loosener.
This is a Cincy-made Rheingeist Franz Oktoberfest beer. I like the fact it's called a Franz.
Okay, cool. I've got another
Franz
can
is
of the
up.
same shit I had last week because I bought
Is this
6
the
of them and I've got
not
to drink
quite
them.
as good honey?
It's
honey.
a medium dry honey cider that has no sugar in it whatsoever and has honey instead. And
Fair.
is
Sorry, hang on.
Has no sugar
Just
but has honey
replay
instead.
what you just said. Mark.
what? Honey, not sugar.
Honey is literally 50% sugar.
It's mostly sugar.
Because we're replacing up to a whopping 48 grams of refined processed white sugar with pure natural honey.
Which is still sugar.
But not refined or processed
It's just
by a
sugar
machine.
from a bee's
I
ass
suppose.
rather
Yeah.
than sugar from.
A factory.
And before
again.
somebody in the comments tells me, "Oh, it's not from their ass," I know that. I'm being facetious on purpose,
Really?
just to wind up Mark.
Why?
All right,
I mean,
we don't need to go into the
why
life
it's done
cycle
to
of a
you.
bee.
I was going to say, it's even more gross than that. Is it not that they regurgitate it, the honey? Yeah. So,
Yeah, let's move on from that.
Well, I have found out since then that the company that made the honey cider that I liked before has since actually chosen to close down, which was really depressing.
Oh, that's very sad.
So
I've still got. You gave me like 3 cans or something, and I've got
Yeah.
one of them left in my fridge.
Cool. They're not being made anymore, so enjoy it.
It's a collector's item.
Mm.
Right,
Yeah.
let me read the can because that's always amusing. Franz is our Oktoberfest Brau. Not traditional, but uber German.
Uber German.
Uber German.
All
He's
right.
an autumnal brew. I'm not sure when it suddenly got anthropomorphized. A bit of a dreamer, often hiking in the Cincinnati hills. I thought it was German. To return brimming with great ideas, like a brisk climb through new terrain, these Munich and Vienna malts will pump you up. I'm very confused.
Sounds to me you're not as confused as this beer is.
Is it American beer that's pretending to be German beer?
Yes.
Well, then why does it just say that?
but why did it say Uber? Because Uber is a German word. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it means above. So it's
And
above
Franz
German.
is only one step away from Fritz.
So does it mean super German?
I think it's supposed to be super German from America.
Okay,
So
that
that's-
makes sense.
Amer-
Yeah.
American
Perfect.
The
German
heart of Germanic things, America.
Okay, cool.
They know
Let us
all about Oktoberfest
know,
being not
if it's good
Germany.
or probably
let's find
it's
out.
not.
So we're here this evening to do a tier list on the 7 detachments from Codex Space Marines.
Yeah, but in our defense, there's only 7 things to talk about.
Yes, that's true.
And at least 4 of them are shit.
That's also true. Yep.
It's going to be like all of them are in D except for maybe a couple.
Maybe not.
I was going to say we didn't
Not
come
that
up with
bad, is
very very snazzy words this
Why have you
time.
not come up with snazzy words? We normally come up with good.
All right, let's come up with them now then. That'll be more exciting than looking at the Vanguard detachment probably.
Okay, so
It's the Vanguard detachment that you're picking on as well.
so S tier would happily take this to a tournament or something.
So I guess it's got to be
Oh, no,
Uber
isn't it?
German.
tournament quality.
Uber German, yeah.
No, don't call it
So
Uber.
S stands for
Don't
Super
call
Uber
it
German.
German, please don't do
Can
that.
it be Uber?
That would be a bad idea. Oh god.
All right, S is Uber. It means above or over. Technically, it is above all the other tiers, so that makes
Brilliant.
sense.
D
Perfect.
tier would be wooden spoon or something. I don't know.
Okay, I
Um,
was going to say,
can we go something slightly more offensive than that?
like the dunce cap.
Um,
Do you ever have that at your school?
I know what it
Well,
is.
no, John. We don't do that anymore. We're not allowed to put dunce caps on students. I did make a 19-year-old stand in the corner for a while until he could learn to grow up. But that
Okay.
was,
So
All right.
give it, D is
So-
I need
what
something
then?
good. We need something good for
Naughty
for
corner,
Absolutely terrible.
The naughty corner?
That sounds mildly sexual.
It's really not.
Oh, naughty.
Okay. We were
Come with
going
me.
on about the hole in your jumper being mildly sexual earlier, so I'm not sure, where the line is drawn there.
Ooh.
Um,
So this is how poor we are now. I can't afford jumpers without holes in.
I doubt that somehow. The B tier can be, I don't know, what is
This...
not good, not bad, average,
It's like decidedly
or
average.
boring, decidedly average. Yeah, we could do that.
I think that Bury stringing is decidedly average.
C could be not.
Oh no, it's not
completely
the side
shit.
of the average. It's somewhere on the other side. C is definitely this beer.
Most of
Okay.
Tony's beers.
And then A is this honey cider.
It's not that great.
No,
No, it's not that good.
Mark's not enamoured with this.
I was going to
this
say
honey cider.
100% natural. 100% natural sugar.
A could be skateboard quality.
Harsh.
John's skateboard.
A could be recording a stream whilst checking the audio works quality.
Oh, that's yeah. No, we need
Audio.
something different, isn't it?
A stands for quality audio.
Functional audio tier.
So this is what people come to this channel for. This is quality consumer
We're
advice.
just gonna call it functional tier.
Okay, all right.
And normally when we do a video, it is functional, except when my computer decides to
That one
crash.
time when it wasn't. And we
Well, there's
uploaded.
2 times now, or 3 times.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah. Well, how many? Yeah, it's about 3 or 4, isn't it? Because we
There was
how
only
many
that
times we
one
ditched an
we
episode?
didn't know until we.
That
put
was
it
the only
live.
one we didn't upload.
Yeah.
So the million dollar
To be
question.
fair, I uploaded one that was dreadful.
Okay.
The million dollar question is one of you guys recording tonight's?
No. So
No.
if all goes wrong, then we're boned.
It's all on you, John.
Then the blame gets squarely on my shoulders again, even though after the last time this happened, I was like, well, one of you guys recorded. You're like, yes.
You
go
did.
ahead.
Yeah, but
And
you
then-
need more incentive to get it right first time. Clearly.
And, yeah,
Okay,
you do.
because
It's the
I'm
stakes that makes us get it right.
because
Yeah.
because I'm inside my Windows computer with Bill Gates,
Yeah.
making sure all the drivers are good to go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Perfect.
You're the kind of works under pressure sort of person.
You know, he's called Bill Gates because he owns a lot of gates. And that's an
Really?
old television joke that I don't think
Is that
is going to. I think that's an old television joke that's not going to land.
Oh well.
All right,
Right,
perfect.
come on,
We've
let's
got
get on
some.
with it.
We've got some
Okay.
cool tiers. The first
have.
attachment, I guess, would be your first company task force.
Really? It
I
looks
think
like
it'd have to be as it's first.
it looks like Company K Force to me.
It's like a Korean one.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess these images have to be squares.
It's like K-pop the army.
All right, so this is the K-pop detachment. Maybe not.
Well, it's first company task force. Trust me.
Well, it's first companies. It's got to go in the first tier, hasn't it?
Yeah. The first company's veterans have fought at the forefront of their chapter's wars for many mortal lifespans. Experience has taught them to identify the foe's lethal threats and to lead their battle brothers to purge them from existence.
It's weird that the first company task force is the last one in the book. Is it prophetic? It might be.
Maybe, yeah.
It's
All
my
right.
favourite one.
I mean,
Is it?
in fluff idea, it's brilliant. You bring all the veterans in, you bring all the Terminators, you bring all the Assault Terminators, you bring Stern Guard, the Vanguard vets, all the people who've been doing their stuff, and they're like more elite Space Marines, because
Yeah.
in theory, they're on a par with the Death Watch, basically, because they're all made up of veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I think the whole thing. I think it's wicked. I mean, from a fluff point of view, it's like, do you know what I want? The best Space Marines. So it's by far the coolest out of all of these.
These are the people that you send to get the job done when no other fucker can do it. And it's such a shame that it's so shit.
Well, it's not. It's not so shit. It's 3 words away from greatness.
All right, what 3 words?
Once per battle.
I mean, it is pretty bad, their detachment.
If you got rid of once per battle, I reckon this would be a solid detachment.
What, and just
So
make
for-
it
for
just make
people-
them have Old Oath for permanently?
Yeah, but they haven't got all the other benefits from Gladius. So it's balanced in my whatever. But anyway, so just because people might not know what it is. So first company task force, their detachment rule, and this is what a lot of this comes down to. Unlike with the other ones we're going to talk to, it's the only one that's once per battle.
Mhm.
But basically, once per battle in your command phase, you can use this ability. If you do until the start of your next command phase, each time a model from your army with the Oath of Moment ability makes an attack that targets your Oath of Moment target, you can re-roll wounds as well. So it's old Oath of Moment. So against one target, you get full re-roll hits and re-roll wounds.
Once
which
per
is
game,
brilliant.
you pick a unit and just say, hey, mate, you're just fucking dead.
And that's phenomenal when you've got big units of things like Terminators and that have got large volumes of fairly low strength fire, or things with devastating wounds on them, which is all those assault cannons. But it doesn't. It says once per battle. And that means that for the other 5 turns of the battle, you have no benefit from being first company task force, and you lose your other benefits as well.
Enhancements and their choice of stratagems. Yeah.
Other than their choice of enhancements and their choice of stratagems. What do you think of their enhancements, Mark?
I'm not really that happy with them, to be honest. I mean, they do something to the model, and once per game they do something to the rest of your army or the unit that the model's with, which is a nice idea, but none of them really sort of leap out at me as being must-takes.
I think Iron Resolve, giving a 5-up feel no pain to a Terminator character, that's quite powerful, especially giving that to the whole unit.
Giving it to the unit is cool. Giving it to a character is pointless, because if it gets to the point where the character that's joined a unit is in horrible danger, then they're probably fucked anyway.
I don't entirely agree with that.
Through the rest of the unit.
If only because there's quite a lot of precision and things like that running around.
There's a bit, but yeah, I'm with Mark. I hate these enhancements because I don't think there's any good Terminator models. Not like in terms of sculpts, but in terms of rules. Right?
I quite like the Terminator Chaplain, although I wish he had a bit more AP. And the Terminator Captain's not bad. What's wrong with the Terminator Captain?
Well, yeah, the characters are fine, but I'm guessing like the squads of Terminators are not fit for purpose, if you ask me. Like the close combat Terminators can't do anything into vehicles. So arguably what they want to kill, which is big hulking monsters and vehicles, they can't because they only wound on 5s. I think once per game with a moment of wound rerolls doesn't help them whatsoever. And then the other Terminators with like bolters, they got no AP. So it's great they've got a bunch of shots, but most of the time they're just going to plink off a few wounds. I'm really unimpressed with the new Terminators that came in Leviathan. They look gorgeous. I've had no motivation to build any of them because I think their rules are hot garbage.
I quite like them.
I think the models are amazing. I think they'll be great against other infantry. I think you're right, against anything that isn't infantry, they'll struggle against.
But do you need to be killing infantry with Terminators? Like, why can't you just kill infantry with like intercessors or something much simpler?
For me, I don't. They're my only infantry in my army at the moment.
Terminators, okay. I just think
I'm running a big unit of very unkillable Terminators that I use for sometimes for assaulting things, but mostly actually just to hold down the middle of the.
And giving that a 5-up feel no pain on a key turn would be pretty cool. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and that's why I like them. I don't run more than that.
Doing that 15 points isn't that bad.
No, I think they're quite survivable. And then I rely on all my tanks to blow up the vehicles.
Fear Made Manifest is pointless.
Yeah, that's worthless.
Imperium Sword's all right.
Imperial Sword's all right, yeah. Giving an extra attack if it's a good attack. And then once per turn, giving an extra attack to all your guys in the unit. It's funny because I don't really rate Assault Terminators at the moment. and I used to quite like them. I prefer the regular ones because even into vehicles, I'm not a fan of Thunderhammers.
Nope.
And
Oh,
being able to bring
Sometimes
a
the pointless
missile
over power fists
launcher,
these days, yeah.
yeah, I prefer the power fist and a missile weapon, especially if you are going to hold an objective in that.
Armor Contempt's a really good strat because it's a really good strat. There's just no two ways around it. Every detachment has it, and it's a really good strat.
And it's a great one. Duty and
Hero-
Honor, you're going to find yourself using a lot because you haven't going to have many units.
Yeah, that's true. For 1 CP, that's worth it.
Orbital Teleportarium, I think you'll use most matches, to be honest. I think that's a very useful strat.
Yeah.
But again, if you haven't got many units, being able to pick one up and put it down somewhere else is a very powerful one.
Legendary Fortitude is fairly cool for -1 damage. The only problem is that most of the things you're using it on are... all the things you're using it on are toughness 4.
Terminators are T5, but yeah.
I think... Oh, all right, 4 or 5. Fine.
I quite like it.
I mean, if you combo that with the 5-up Feel No Pain, then you're talking, but like, I just don't think Terminators have a good enough damage output to justify putting Terminators in a list, but yeah, it's just my opinion on them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're not
wrong. Here's the chapters, like when you start taking damage to a unit, they become a little bit more deadly. It's a fine strat, but very situational.
Yeah, if things are taking damage, then why do you want to spend points on them making a reduced strength unit hit harder? It's just counterintuitive. It's not great. And
then terrifying proficiency is just
about as worthless as Rights of War.
Yeah,
it's just so like, who even wrote that? Like, have they played 10th edition?
Well, they probably hadn't before they wrote the book, if we're honest.
Battle Shock can be useful, but it's not useful often enough into another.
I wouldn't build around it. It's kind of it was lucky because it went off rather than anything else. Okay, so we've looked at the strats, we've looked at the enhancements, we've looked at the detachment rule. Where do we rank it?
God, you're gonna make like, I can't put it anywhere above this terrible beer.
I'd probably put it in the naughty corner if I'm honest. I
So
really don't.
You can use it with basically any Space Marine army that you'd take anyway. And ultimately, what it does is once per game, they can kill one enemy unit really but good, which is fine.
But here's the thing, Mark. 90% of the time when you oath the moment a target, you kill it anyway, with or without the rerolls. So it's like, it's super...
I don't know. Reroll hits isn't really... Just reroll hits is nice, but it doesn't guarantee a kill.
No,
well,
I suppose
not with Terminators and assault cannons, but
no, I suppose not. Okay,
but yeah, it's a funny one because I really, really, really like the idea of the first company task force. I think the enhancements they're okay. To be honest, I don't think they're any worse than any other enhancements for any other ones. Really, the strats, there's a couple of reasonable ones in there.
Yeah.
I'm ignoring armor and contempt because everybody's got armor and contempt.
Yeah, we should ignore that.
You've got a couple of decent ones in there. I think the Teleportarian one's quite useful if you're running a lot of Terminators. I think Legendary Fortitude is actually quite powerful because there's a lot of damage 3 guns going around and making them roll extra attacks. Chuck that on top of the bloody Iron Resolve for a turn and things aren't going to die. And I think that's quite powerful. The problem is that Terminators aren't amazing. And if I'm honest, if I'm going to run a Mega Terminator heavy army, I'm going to run it in Sons of Sanguinius. I know it's not on this list, but I trialed after making the most out of Sons of Sanguinius, playing a Terminator heavy Sons of Sanguinius list. It was all right.
That's the thing, isn't it?
It's not going to win any tournaments, but it was all right.
Yeah,
it's better than that.
If you want tricks, you can get them better elsewhere. If you want raw killing power, you can get them better elsewhere. If you want tactical flexibility, you can get them better elsewhere. It's flavorful, but it's not great.
Yeah, and even if you want durability, you get it better elsewhere.
Yeah.
And that's really sad. But I still maintain that this is 3 words away from being a good detachment.
Yeah, but where are we putting it then?
Yeah, it is what it is. I definitely at least this terrible beer. I don't feel like I want to put it in naughty corner because it's not utterly useless.
All right, well,
definitely take it back to the drawing board.
Say 2 against 1. We'll just go with the majority for each.
Yeah.
Okay. So Company K Force, this terrible beer. Excellent.
Hey.
Yep. Next up, I guess I have the Anvil
Siege.
You sure you don't
Force.
have the Lance K-Force?
Oh, yeah, well, let's do the Armlance K-Force, which is when it's at home, the Stormlance Task
Sure?
Force.
You sure it's not the Lance K-Force? Because it could be the Lance,
It could be.
but it's
Like,
not. It's the Stormlance.
I mean, okay, elephant in the room.
Yeah?
If you're going to build a detachment around bikes,
Uh-huh.
you should probably have more than one bike in the codex.
Yep.
Does
Yep.
that
I mean,
sound...
okay, so Stormlance Task Force is like not the white scars, and
Yes.
they're generally mounted and all this sort of stuff. And the problem with the new codex is there is one unit of mounted stuff in the codex, which is Outriders,
Yeah.
and they're not
one character.
Yeah.
So if you want to play... It's ironic because the Ermlance Task Force is... sorry, Ermlance K-Force is white scars. But it actually only really works for...
Space Force.
Dark Angels.
You have a load of mounted wolf cavalry stuff, yeah.
And Dark Angels, you have a load of mounted cavalry. So the White Scars can't really use the Ermlance Task Force.
Yeah, until GW get around to releasing more mounted stuff.
Because even their special characters aren't on bikes.
Yeah.
I'll have you know that at least I put the friggin' images together. The White Scars
if you don't want to take the piss out of it, then don't give us the fuel, mate.
Okay, the White Scars must have been wiped out in one of these books. Like the lieutenant of the Leviathan took out everything except the Outriders. Took out all their old bikes, all their scout bikes, everything. That's all that's left is the Outriders.
Unless you're playing Legend, in which case you might have a little bit more variety of units.
Well, you've got like a couple more units, haven't you? You've got one extra character on a bike, but pretty much. But
Outriders are good at what they do. They're just
they don't do anything
much.
useful.
Yeah, they're really fast, which is great. They're resilient-ish, and they've got a lot of attacks versus chaff, which is all right. You occasionally need that.
Oh yeah. I really think if you were going to play White Scars, you'd probably run Gladius.
Yeah,
because you can still have your. Let's go. To be fair, let's actually talk about the special rule. Detachment rule: Lightning Assault. Adeptus Astartes units from your army eligible to declare a charge in a turn which they advanced or fell back. Really powerful move.
Yeah, all game long. Great.
All game long. Really
really need
powerful.
it all game long. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because with Gladius, you can have it once per game for an entire turn, and you can have it for the rest of the game for a unit for a CP if you want, which is cool.
So it's a powerful detachment rule. I think it falls down on everything else about the detachment rule. You know, in enhancements, we've got Fury of the Storm.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the chaplain on the bike? Is he the only character, or is there a White Scars character as well?
Yes.
No, it's just the chaplain on the bike.
The White Scars only had one unique model, and they've legendsed it.
Okay, so the chaplain on the bike is the only character they have.
Special characters.
Isn't Khan on foot still in the thing?
No, just the special Khan on foot.
Corsaro Khan. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so Adeptus Astartes mounted model only. So you can put this on a chaplain on bike.
That's it. Yep. Nothing else.
Nothing
Give
else.
him two.
Improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 1. That's not bad. Each time the bearer ends a charge move until the end of the turn, improve the strength and armor penetration characteristics of the bearer's melee weapons by 2 instead. It's a really powerful buff to the one man who can take it.
Yeah,
I would argue, just to be devil advocate, it's not that powerful though, because Acrosius moving from strength 6 to strength 8 doesn't help in a lot. Yeah, the AP helps, but for the most part, your wound rolls will still be dog shit. So, I mean, you just have to take that into account.
Well, only if you're punching a tank. But
well, I mean, Beast and Nurgle are fucking toughness 9. So,
yeah, fair enough.
If you fight Beast and Nurgle, he's going to be stuck in combat with them until they kill him, and he's never going to win them.
Next one then.
Yep.
Here we go. This one's not for a bike. Portents of Wisdom. Adeptus Astartes model only. While the bearer is leading a unit, you can re-roll advanced rolls made for that. Oh, that's not that good, is it? Re-roll
15 points. If you're advancing and charging and you can re-roll advanced rolls, then...
Would you bank on it?
I mean, it's slightly okay.
It's nice. If I had 15 points left, I'd buy that.
Only because there's nothing else you can buy for 15 points, though.
Well, there is. It's a 10-point one, but yeah, okay.
All right, Fainting Withdrawal. Adeptus Astartes model only, while the bearer is leading a unit. It can shoot in a turn which it fell back. So not only can it fall back and charge, but it can fall back and shoot. Isn't there another detachment that lets you do that?
Yes, it's called Gladius, and you can do it for your whole army rather than one unit, and it costs no points.
Oh, yeah, that was it, yeah.
Okay, all right.
Hunter's Instincts, then. Oh, we're mounted again, so this is for your chaplain.
Yep.
If the bearer's unit is in strategic reserves for the purposes of setting up the unit on the battlefield, treat the current battle round number as being one higher than it actually is.
Cool, you can have a deep striking outrider squad in turn 1, or whatever value that
it can't deep strike, it can come on the edge somewhere, but yeah.
Yeah, sure. I guess for 10, that's actually okay for 10 points, but like I don't really see the strength in it.
Yeah, it's not going to break a game.
What's he going to do? I've got my chaplain and his outriders have come in on turn 1 and they're going to
make a 9-inch charge, which is 25% chance or something.
Or they could maybe rapid fire some very light infantry.
Yeah.
In turn 1, not turn 2.
It's fine for 10 points, but it's got 0 game impact. It's realistically what it's got.
All right, let's have a look at the. Let's see if they gain something good from their strats.
Okay.
Yes, let's.
We're ignoring armor of contempt because everybody gets it.
Although, once again, it is really good.
Sure.
It is really good. It's I would argue probably the best, if certainly one of, if not the best strat in the book.
Yeah.
Right, shock assault then. Let's see what we get. It's in your charge phase. You can use it to an Adeptus Astartes mounted unit. We've got loads. Oh no, we haven't got any of those, have we? Until the end of your turn, you can re-roll charge rolls, and they get Lance. Not bad. 1 CP.
Yeah.
Lance on your 1 mounted unit in the army,
which does like strength 4 or 5 chainsword attacks. Great.
All right, not bad. We like it. It's just a pity we can't do it to anything.
Yeah.
Blitzing Fusillade. 1 Adeptus Astartes units. This works on everything.
Mm-hmm.
Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped unit models a unit have the assault ability.
Okay.
If it's already an assault, it gets sustained hits 1.
Nice.
There you go. I've got assault devastators.
The only thing that I could see about this, could you put 5 Hellblasters into a Impulsor, and then Hellblasters are now, well, they are assault anyway, so you would get sustained hits 1 on like a squad of Hellblasters inside Impulsor. I do realise I'm reaching really hard to try and make this a good strat, but that's about the only thing I can think of.
Yes, you could. They don't have to be an Impulsor. They could be outside the Impulsor and get it as
True,
well.
True, yeah. Just the Impulsor lets you...
I'm not entirely sure what the Impulsor adds. Oh, as extra threat range. Yeah, all right, fine, fair enough.
Yeah. And a little bit of ablative armor, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Right.
Let's keep going. Good. Ride hard, ride fast. I think we're being sexual again. Show us your armhole, Mark.
I'd really rather not turn you on again. There's definitely something on your mind this evening, and it's not the beer.
All right, 1 mounted or 1 flying vehicle until end of phase. Each time attack targets your unit, subtract 1 to the hit roll and subtract 1 to the wound roll. So -1 to hit, -1 to wound when you're shot at.
For mounted or fly.
I mean, that's fine. It's a reasonably decent survivability one, I guess, for bikes.
Yeah.
Or flying vehicles.
Yeah.
But no one's using flying vehicles. Literally, I haven't seen a single flyer in like 20 games of 10th
Not
edition.
even that storm speeder that you use to get extra AP and ignore cover and other bollocks.
Oh, okay, yeah, I guess there's... Yeah, okay.
You know what it does work on really well for 1 CP?
A Thunderhawk gunship.
Thunderhawk gunship.
Okay.
So, and actually, to be fair, -1 to hit and -1 to wound on a Thunderhawk is quite a big deal for 1 CP.
That is a big deal. Thunderhawk stuff is 13, is it, right?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right. We've found
Might be 12, but I'll look at it.
I'm literally going to check it right now. Thunderhawk.
Right. So you got to take your Thunderhawk in an Ermlance Uck Force and play this stratagem on it and let us know.
I'm stuck this 12. Okay, so -1 to wound and hit the Thunderhawk gunship.
Flyer super heavies are normally a little bit less tough than non-flyer super heavies, so that figures.
All right.
So
next up, full throttle.
Next.
Full throttle.
Well, hey.
Oh, we can use it on mounted all vehicles, but not those.
So you could use you could use it on your flyer as well until the end of the phase. If your unit advances, do not make an advance roll. Add 6 or 9 inches instead if your unit is mounted.
Okay, so
you could bung that on a Land Raider Redeemer, auto advance at 6, and then give its guns assault.
for 3 CP,
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's
but
a lot of
yes,
CP.
I mean...
Oh shit, it's 2 CP. Oh, fuck that.
The advantage of this gives you a 9-inch advance on your unit of Outriders, so they move 12 inches, they advance 9 inches, and then you charge. So it gives you a very, very long threat range. It's a long threat range on, like, each Outrider only gets 4 chain swords, so it's like, meh.
When you said it was 2 CP, I was like, nah, I'm not interested anymore.
all right. So if you didn't like that one, how about this one then, Mark? Wins swift evasion. 1 Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that is within 9 inches of an enemy unit can make a normal move of up to 6 inches.
Depends when you can activate it. When do you get
Your
to
opponent's
activate
movement
it?
phase.
Just after an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move for 1 CP. That's really good.
Means you can run away.
It's great.
It's for the shim. Sometimes you can do some cool things with that, like you can shimmy onto an objective, or you can shimmy behind a wall or something like that. It's not bad.
Pull back a little bit from those corn berserkers, so they can't make their charge.
I mean, if we need to get extra movement on our Thunderhawk here as well, that helps us out, doesn't it?
No,
Yeah,
it's Adeptus Astartes, so I can move it 6 inches back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get over the -1 to wound for 1 CP.
Only on mounted or fly vehicles. Yeah.
This is immediately suddenly way better.
Yeah, you just play that every single turn and to damn
how
with
many
everything
points
else.
is your Thunderhawk at the moment?
Sorry?
How many points is your Thunderhawk at the moment?
850, I think.
Right, so that and a bunch of Outriders is your army then. Right, okay, good.
It can carry Outriders.
Even better, I didn't know it could carry Outriders.
Have
How
we
many
done
Outriders can
have
it
we done
carry?
Sorry,
the
still
strats?
count.
Have we done them all?
That's
That's
it,
all
that's
of
them all.
That's all we've got to talk about.
Okay, so you got a couple of good stratagems in there.
Oh, it's not 850, it's 840.
Oh, look at that. That
10
10
point
points.
reduction.
That 10 points would buy me Hunter's Instinct, wouldn't it?
Blitzing Fusiliad is a little bit of extra firepower. Full Throttle is not
It's got a
worth
couple
2
of decent
CP.
strats. It's just...
Shock Assault is great if you could use it on things other than mounted units.
Yep.
Here's a really stupid question. If you have a mounted unit,
What's it mounted?
no, if you had a mounted unit with Hunter's
It's riding
Instinct,
hard and fast.
I never knew you could put Outriders on a transport, so this is like a dumb question. If you had that chaplain with Hunter Instinct mounted inside the Thunderhawk, can he arrive in turn 1? Can the Thunderhawk arrive?
No, because it wouldn't affect his... I can't find the bloody rules for Thunderhawk.
Oh, but he's not technically in strategic reserve. He would be in just reserve because he's inside the Thunderhawk. Okay.
He wouldn't be in reserve, but yeah.
Yeah, no, this is almost a joke detachment. Is it also this terrible beer? Or is it in the naughty corner?
I think it's probably slightly better, to be fair, than...
Is it?
I'd put it in naughty corner because the idea of making the White Scars detachment buffing all your mounted stuff when there's almost no fucking mounted things in the codex is just a joke, really. The fact that it's the White Scars detachment that is best for Space Wolves.
It's
amusing.
I think it's a joke, and I think that this could have been the melee detachment that should have been in the Space Marine book.
Yeah. If it could have been things like jump packs as well, then you start getting interesting.
It could have been mounted or flying infantry. There's no reason it had to be mounted only.
Yeah.
Do you want it anywhere different from the naughty corner? I mean, you've already got 2 votes putting it in the naughty corner, Tony. So
I thought you were putting it in terrible beer.
Well, I was sort of swaying between that.
See, I don't think it's worse than the First Company Task Force, to be honest, because it's got a actually fairly powerful whole army buff that works on everything. It's got a couple of good strats. It's got
the strats are so limited though, Mark's right. You can only use
They
them
are.
In objective,
not all of them. That dodging back one's quite powerful and does affect everything.
In objective terms, when you just reading it on the rules it gives and the benefits it gives, it probably is terrible beer. But
I just think it's better than the K-Force.
Because the whole mounted thing is a bit stupid, really.
Yeah. I do think it's better than the Company K-Force. I really do. Because that's so limited in a similar way, but it's equally just is limited, but its main rule isn't as good. And that's my logic. It's got a better.
I see it. Okay, so you're just saying it's better because you can at least use it for the whole game as opposed to use it for one turn.
And that's my logic. Okay. I don't think it's good. I just think it's better than the K-Force.
Yeah, sure, but you're not going to advance and charge every turn of every
game.
You
might.
But it's also advance and fall back. It's fall back as well.
It's fall back and charge every time.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. All right.
I can't find the Thunderhawk.
Just use the app, man. Just
Where
use
are you
the
looking?
app. It's not in the codex.
Where is it then?
It's in the Forge World document.
Imperial armor.
Into the codex.
No. The Thunderhawk and the Astraeus are in the online index document thing.
They'll be.
I really need to paint my Astraeus.
Shouldn't have told you.
For reasons that we're going to get onto later.
Yeah.
That John pointed out to me.
Okay, Anvil Strike Force is up next, or Anvil Siege Force, sorry, or Vil Siege Force.
Vil Siege 4. Vil Siege 4.
Do you know what?
Like a character out of The Witcher, doesn't it?
Can I tell you a story about something like this where the words were cut off?
Is it amusing?
It's kind of amusing. I'll tell it very quickly.
I'm not sure if you should.
Stargate SG-1, when that first came out, did you know this story, either of you?
No.
Richard Dean Anderson obviously was the big star for MacGyver, and his people, his agent said, Richard Dean Anderson will be in Stargate SG-1, but we need his name as big as the Stargate SG-1 logo. And they said, yeah, we can do that, sure. And in the very first cut of Stargate SG-1, his name was so long, Richard Dean Anderson, it said Hard Dean Anders. And his agent went to him and said, we might need to make your name smaller unless you're happy being called Hard Dean Anders. He was like, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That was quite funny.
Which one was fine, being called Hard Dean Anders?
I think good name, I think.
That's quite a good name.
Why didn't they just not have it all on one line?
I know, right? I mean, technology in the 90s, I'm not sure they had word wrapping. Okay, so we're looking at
okay, yeah. Sure.
Vil Siege 4.
Vil Siege 4. I don't know what they're for.
They are for shooting and not moving.
Alright, so what's their detachment ability?
Right, so ranged weapons equipped with Adeptus Astartes models from your army have the heavy ability. If such a weapon already has this ability, each time an attack is made with that weapon, if the attacking model's unit remains stationary this turn, add 1 to the wound roll.
This is the Iron... No, it's not. The Imperial Fists detachment.
Yep.
And it's really, really, really good if you want to stand still and shoot and hope that your enemy doesn't move out the way.
Yep.
Or use the now much more amount of terrain you're supposed to use in 40k.
Yeah.
Because by being heavy, you get +1 to hit. So basically, if you stand still, +1 to hit, +1 to wound.
Yeah, which is really powerful.
Yes. Enhancements.
Can't argue that.
The first one is pretty cool. 20 points on a Gravis captain or a Gravis character. When he's destroyed, roll a d6. On a 2-up, you just set him back up with full wounds.
Which is pretty good.
So put it on that Gravis captain that's got half damage.
For that?
Yeah.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
But what I'm disappointed in, John, is that you didn't say the name.
What, Hardeen Anders?
No, of the enhancement.
Indomitable Fury.
There we go.
You just
I just wanted to make you say indomitable.
You wanted to see how badly he'd mangle it, didn't you?
I really did.
Okay, next up, Fleet Commander is the captain only.
What's the name of the Chief Apothecary of the Blood Angels chapter, John?
Torbulo.
Oof, close. Yes, you did. Okay, fair enough.
I was going to say, my wife always makes fun of me about something like that. Potato, tomato. I can't say stuff. I don't speak English. I'm not English anyway. Why do I speak it?
Can you do the intro to Train Spotting for me?
I could probably do it,
Probably
but not by heart.
Need to work himself up.
Fleet Commander.
Get him another beer.
I looked at this one. Once per battle, at the start of the shooting phase, you can select 1 point in the battlefield, place a marker at that point. At the start of the next shooting phase, place another marker within 12. Draw a straight line between each of these markers. Roll a d6 for each unit that passes over. On a 3+, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. Both markers then removed. So it's like a laser coming from the sky, like a Death Star cannon. Zoom.
Yeah. Doing D3 wounds on a 3-up.
So statistically, what is that? Like 1 mortal wound to everything?
To how many units are you going to be able to draw this line over? Realistically, it's going to be 1.
Yeah,
It's
1
not
or
gonna
2
be more
maybe.
than 1.
So realistically, this is going to do 1 mortal wound for 15 points.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I guess if you think 1 mortal wound's worth 15 points, go for it.
If you got 15 points left and literally nothing else to spend it on, then sure. I'll spend them all.
To be fair, that is one of those sorts of things, isn't it? It's like, because of the way we build army lists now, which is great.
No, it's not.
We always end up, I don't know about you guys, but I always end up with like either I've gone slightly over and I'm boned and have to drop a whole unit, or I'm like 50 points under and I've got nothing I can buy for 50 points.
Yeah.
And I just start whacking in enhancements because I need to make up some points.
Yeah, the army list is a whole kettle of fish we won't cover today, but yes. Static.
You do find that with enhancements. You either you actively want to put them in your army and you choose them before you do much else, or you wait till you get to the end and then you use them as filler.
Yeah. All right. Stoic Defender. While the bearer's leading unit, models in that unit have a 6-up feeling of pain when they're within range of an objective marker that you control. Sorry. While the unit is battle shocked, half the objective control models instead of reducing it to 0. I mean, that's actually pretty cool for 15 points.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've got to interject here. This is completely irrelevant, but it's just happened and it's amusing the crap out of me.
Okay.
I thought for a laugh, and I will continue to do this, I just downloaded the intro from Train Spotting.
Oh, God.
For amusement value, right? And I've dumped it into Word for reasons, but it's come up with the grammar checking things under there. But the thing it's highlighted is it's having it demonetized, the phrase fucking big. And if you right click on it, when it comes up with this language may be offensive to your reader.
Right, okay. Fine.
Or listeners in this case.
So what we want to do then, as the intro for our video, is we're going to take the intro to Train Spotting and then filk it to replace all the terms in there with Warhammer terms or Blood Angel terms or Blood Angel character terms or something. And just take the piss out of that instead.
Yeah, let's do it. And then we'll just get Iggy Pop over it, and we definitely won't get demonetized. Lust for life.
Any way, shape, or form whatsoever.
We could just we could
it won't serve the purposes of a disclaimer at all.
I was going to say, you do music, Tony. You could beatbox the drums, could you?
Yeah, why not? I'm sure I could probably.
All right, Stoic Defender is actually pretty cool. Probably worked really well on a Gravis unit.
It's better than maybe 1 mortal wound.
Yeah, it's way better than 1 mortal wound.
Way more useful to like the outcome of the fight.
Yeah, and then Architect of War, while the unit is leading
a unit, range weapons have ignores cover. So
ignores cover.
I mean,
what could that be good on? Devastators or something?
A whole bunch of things could join Devastators now that couldn't before, and Hellblasters. Oh, jeez, Tony.
Is it the right way around for you, or is it backwards?
It's the right way around for me. Yeah. Whether it is for what will appear on the stream or not, I don't know. But it is.
I was going to say, what's more funny is they actually said choose a big fucking television. I mean, that was like 1992, so big television would be like
32-inch widescreen, and it weighs about 150 kilograms, and it takes up a quarter of your living room.
Yeah, this was before he was Obi-Wan, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, way before, yeah.
We were watching the IT crowd earlier, and there's a bit in there where they're talking about he wants to go and watch a movie, and there's a guy and there's a German, and he's a cannibal, and they're like, he's got a 50-inch television, and we were sitting there going, we've got a 50-inch television, and we were moaning the other day that we can't read the text in Diablo, and we need a bigger television. It's like technology's moved on a little bit. I remember my 12-inch black and white one that I used to play Final Fantasy on as a teenager.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, right, so
put it away, Tony.
Detachments.
You know you want to do it, John.
We've done detachments. What? Choose
Architect of War is a pretty good power that will add to the firepower of a unit, so that's fine.
Sure, I just think that the Stoic Defender for 15 points is like the best It's the best enhancement in that list, I think.
Yeah.
I'll bring it back.
Fury's good as well, though. Okay, so
Armor Contempt is good. We've covered that already.
Yep. Which one do you want to do? Rigid Defense?
Yeah, we could do rigid discipline instead if you prefer.
Okay,
As long
yeah,
as
let's
it's
do that
rigid,
one.
it's fine.
Yeah,
I like things
we're-
that are rigid.
Let's
Yeah?
do rigid discipline because
Okay.
yes.
So, for 1 CP at the end of the fight phase, one Adeptus Astartes unit from your army that is within engagement range gets to fuck off, fall back up to 6 inches, and they must end that move either wholly within your DZ or within range of an objective marker, which makes it a little bit less good. Because
I still think that's very cool.
1 CP, end of the fight phase.
So the enemy charges you, they fight you, you spend your 1 CP, you fall back onto the objective, so in your turn you count as standing still, and then you have heavy weapons, so you get +1 to wound and +1 to hit while you gun the crap out of them. It's great.
After they've charged you and fought you. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm not. No, thanks. Cheers.
Well, sure, but I mean, you will eventually get in melee combat. You will. So when you inevitably get put into melee combat, I think this is great.
Yeah, assuming that you don't get butchered during the melee combat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Not 1 step backwards. Select an infantry unit from your army until the end of the turn. Double your OC. You must remain stationary.
That could be game changing, maybe.
I don't think it is. I think it's crap.
It could also be pointless because
The way I'm looking at it, and the reason I'm looking at it, is it's unlikely that I would have had a unit on an objective that doesn't have any OC and hasn't moved. The chances are I'm moving a unit onto the objective to try and take it or to hold it or whatever, and then this doesn't work.
The whole point of this detachment is you don't move.
Yeah. And I just can't. If I
it's-
put a unit on an objective not to move, it's probably got enough OC that I don't need this.
It's
Maybe.
very situational. It could score you like 5 points in a game for 1 CP, right? Where it's like it just means that you'll be double for whatever reason you
The
will
right
control
time
it.
and place, it can make or break a game, but it isn't going to be every game.
Okay, no
Far
threat,
from it.
too great. Select a unit from your army that has not been selected. Shoot. Each time you target monsters or vehicles, you can reroll wounds. It's pretty nice, but it's expensive at 2 CP.
It is, but
Yeah.
it basically gives you your company K-Force special rule
Yep.
for 2 CP.
For 2 CP, or if you had a captain in your unit which lets you do a stratagem for free, a battle tactic, then you can do that every turn for free, which is pretty
That
nice.
is true. However, the fact you could use it on any Adeptus Astartes unit means that you don't have to do it on something that is infantry.
No, but I mean, it'd be
and
very.
the chances are, if you're using it because you've got a problem wounding it, it's unlikely to not be a monster or vehicle.
Plus, let's be fair, if this is 1 CP, it'd be broken.
Yeah, I think it's very strong that you can do it on. You could do it on a captain leading a squad, and then you could do it on a vehicle as well. So very strong.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really,
Battle
really
drill
powerful.
recall. 1 unit in your army has not been selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Range weapons equipped by the model in the unit have sustained at 1. If you remain stationary this turn, until the end of the phase, each model in the unit then makes a successful hit on a 5+ scores crits.
Yep.
So basically bursts on 5+.
Yeah.
If you stayed still,
Yep.
1 CP.
Yep.
Battle tactic as well.
It's
Which
potentially quite powerful.
is really good on something like, say, Desolators.
Or a Land Raider, or a Repulsor Executioner, or
Anything that fires indirect and doesn't move to shoot.
yeah, an Estrella super heavy tank. Anything with lots of guns gets a lot of benefit out of this.
For 1 CP, I think that's quite powerful, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's great. Hail of Vengeance. In your opponent's shooting phase, 1 unit from your army that has 1 or more of its models destroyed by the attack, you can then shoot back as if you're shooting phase, but you must target the unit that was shooting at you. It's good as well, 2 CP.
I think so. Well, I think it can be.
If you
It's going to really punish someone that sticks a bit of incidental fire. Let's say we go back to Hellblast or something like that, and they're like, "Maha, I've got this tank, and I'm going to fire my Stormbolter into your unit of Hellblasters," and you're like, "You made a mistake there when you killed one, and the whole lot turn around and fire back."
We've all had that turn where you put a bunch of firepower into something and just whiff all the rolls and it doesn't do anything.
It does like 1 casualty, and you're like,
Yeah, so you target a squad of 6 Eradicators with your Land Raider, you miss with all the last cannons, but 1 kills a guy, and then you get 5 Eradicators shooting back at you with full hits. And it's not like Overwatch, it's just regular. So they would count as standing still, right? Because they wouldn't have moved, so they would be 5 Eradicators hitting on 2s, wounding on
+1
4s, re-rolling everything. It could be really powerful. 2 CP. It's again one that you're not going to use every game, but when you do whack it out, it has the potential to be extremely powerful.
Okay, so where does the Vil Siege 4 come for you guys?
I'll never take it in a competitive game. Ever.
This terrible bit.
Really? Okay, where are you putting it, Mark?
It adds some real punch to things. If you want to play a game where you're taking a load of indirect fire stuff, some desolators, some whirlwinds and stuff, then you can make a lot of use out of the benefits you get from not moving and shooting, then okay, cool, great. Otherwise, this is a game where you have to move around onto objectives and move to shoot things that moved out of your way, and to have a detachment giving you really substantial buffs but requiring you not to move to do it is pointless.
This feels like the ultimate curb stomping noob their first game list, because you playing on Planet Bowling Ball and you're like, we're just going to play really simple, we're not really going to have any objectives, we're just going to play a few rounds, we're going to try and kill each other, and they all line up on the other side, and you're like, right, brilliant, so they've got no cover and I don't have to move to win this game, you just blow them off the board. And then the moment you try and play it in like a more competitive environment where there's a lot of terrain around, there's objectives that you've got to be moving and taking and things like that, suddenly it falls right off.
So at least the Lance K-Force and Company K-Force have some benefits and play in a game.
If
the
someone joins
Siege Force,
if someone joins this video halfway through, they could be like, what the fuck are these guys on about?
It's incredibly powerful for a game.
I think it's decidedly average, honestly, but I'm happy to put it.
I'm Naughty Corner, mate. I'm flat out Naughty Corner.
Right, where are you putting it? You're the swing vote. He's saying Naughty Corner, I'm saying decidedly average. Tony, where are you putting it? Don't say terrible beer.
Terrible beer, isn't it? But I do think it's very powerful, but it's very powerful in a non-competitive game where you're not really worried about objectives and you're playing with your mates and beer and pretzels, you haven't got a lot of terrain, you're just trying to blow your mate up, then it's really very, very powerful. I just can't see it having any real use for a game where you need to move and take objectives and this sort of thing. And like Mark said with indirect fire, absolutely, it can really buff indirect fire, but whirlwinds are going to get more from the God knows, I can't even work out what they're called, but the tank one. And desolators now are so many points that
I just throw my 2 cents. The reason I think it's decidedly average is I remember when I played aggressors. Do you remember when aggressors, if they stayed still, they got to double their shots up? And you had like 6 aggressors getting 100 shots or something ridiculous. I remember that feeling like, yes, it took you a few turns to set up, but once you had, let's say, 6 aggressors on the center objective,
the difference there,
you were laughing, right?
In that edition of the game, there were ways that existed to make yourself count as not having moved.
That's true, I suppose,
none of them exist.
True.
That does not exist as a concept in the game anymore.
Double the firepower is better than +1 to wound.
True.
Or
true.
+1 to hit.
Okay, all right. I'm willing to. I still think it's decidedly average, but it's going to go in not terrible.
I don't entirely disagree, to be honest. I think it's probably the best of the 3 we've done so far because it has so much killing power. It's just I don't think it's got winning games power.
No. Having killing power is great if there's something in your sights to kill. And if you're playing this, then all your enemy has to do is just not be where you are.
Okay, next up, we're looking at the Firestorm Assault Force, which is also known as the Storm Alt Force. We've come up with cooler names just tonight than they came up with for all these detachments, haven't we?
By completely deliberate choice, of course, in all ways.
All right, so this one, everybody...
This is the Salamanders one.
Gets the Assault ability on their weapons.
For all the reasons that made the Vil Siege 4 bad, all say that this one is good.
A lot of people like this one. I think because the +1 to strength within 12 inches puts tons of weapons on breakpoints.
There is that, but the reason why this is good where the Vil Siege Force is not, is the Vil C4 makes you want to sit back, not move, don't go anywhere. This one incentivizes you to move forward, get in their face, be pushing the game forward, moving on to objectives, getting into your enemy's face, and that inherently mixes with what the game wants you to do straight away.
Okay.
You win games by scoring points. You don't win games by sitting in your opponent's zone.
That's very true. Okay, so we know what close range eradication is. Champion of humanity. While you're leading a unit, you can ignore any or all modifiers to any tests. So I guess hits and wounds and battle
This has
shock.
been altered slightly, hasn't it? So I remember reading
It's
somewhere.
been sort of clarified by a not GW official FAQ that they've given out to people who are attending the World Championships of Warhammer, but haven't made available as an FAQ or to the entire community yet, if they're going to. And that FAQ says things that say you can ignore all modifiers to characteristics only count to the stat line at the top, and all the stat lines for the weapons and the attacks aren't affected by this.
Yes.
Which is good. It's got this clarification, which is fine.
Yeah.
Okay. More tempered artifice. Add 3 to the strength weapon.
I like it.
10 points to be able to ignore -1s to hits and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not too bad, yeah.
Just what unit would you give that on? Tacticus model, leading a unit. That's going to be Hellblasters again, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or something
Probably.
Possibly, yeah.
I can't think of anything you'd go better on. Maybe Sternguard could be quite good.
Crap these days.
But Sternguard have had such a massive nerf that, I don't think there is. I think Blade Guard.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
suppose Blade Guard, yeah, maybe.
That could be quite powerful.
Okay, next up, add 3 to the strength of a melee weapon for 25 points.
I quite like this. I think it's a little bit overcosted, but it turns power fists and things like that into strength 11 weapons, which makes them actually viable for punching out the odd dreadnought.
I was going to say that's what we need in the melee detachments, but we don't have, right?
I think
we just have
strength
+1 or
11 is
2.
quite a handy number to have.
Yeah, I think strength 10 and above in melee is badly needed, so I agree with that. Next up,
Imagine you give that to a chaplain with jump pack with a power fist, and makes their power fist strength 11 and their +1 to wound as well when they're fighting.
It's very good. Fortune Battle, you can change a single roll once per turn, a hit or a saving throw into a 6.
Fuck yeah, 15 points all day long, mate.
It's pretty cool. Saves a unit. Plus it's once per turn, not battle round. So you can do it in both the opponent's turn and your turn.
Brilliant.
And then the last one, Adamantium Mantle for 20 points. Basically, each time a damage is allocated to the bearer, you remove 1 damage. However, if it's a Melta weapon or a Torrent weapon, you change the damage of that to just 1. So I guess when you're getting flamed or melted.
Really powerful, but I just don't see it ever being used.
Yeah, it only affects the model that bears it, and they're going to be in the middle of a unit, really, aren't they?
Because I can't think of anything that's kind of sort of like precision and try and pick out a character with a melter weapon or something. And
it's not going to happen. You could do a tech marine, maybe.
Maybe,
but we're clutching at straws a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we are. Okay, so we like that. We like that for the most part. We like
some good enhancements in there.
Yeah.
Yep. So stratagems.
Our contempt is really good.
Yeah.
Once again,
really?
Shocking.
I haven't heard that.
Go figure. Yeah.
Crucible of Battle, Adept Astartes, Infantry, your shooting or fight phase. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack, that targets the closest eligible target within 6, add 1 to wound. That can be really nice when you couple it with their close range eradication, giving +1 to wound. Say you've got some eradicators.
Yep.
You get them nice and close. You've got the extra point of strength, and you've got +1 to wound.
Yeah.
And because they're eradicators, they've got rerolls anyway.
Yeah, and the guns are assault.
That's quite for 1 CP. That can be
it's
really
tasty.
powerful.
Yeah, Eradicator's guns are no longer assault
aggressors,
but they will have it from the detachment.
Yeah, I think that can be quite powerful. Or even Hellblasters.
You're going to have
Hellblasters +1 to wound at close target.
Just so we're clear, you're gonna have to do this on a model by model basis, right? Because it's within 6. So you would have to slow roll these if like 4 of your models are within 6 and 2 of them are not. Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
yeah. But that's decided at the time you're shooting, which is fine.
Yeah. Okay. Next up, the transport one is pretty cool. So 1 transport from your army that has no models embarked with it, and 1 infantry model unit within 6. The infantry can embark that transport at the end of the fight phase, but you cannot target anything with this in engagement range.
Right.
It's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
It does touch on the only bit of this detachment that I'm not completely cool with, though. Half of the stratagems in here are to do with just killing stuff, and the other half are to do with messing around with transport things. And I'm not so sure that'll be massively useful to you all the time.
See, I was thinking about this, right? So, like, I drive my transport up, I disembark my 6 eradicators, I shoot them all, I potentially kill something. At the end of the fight phase, there's no stipulation on these guys needed to fight. I can now just pay 1 CP and they'll jump back in the transport.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool if you wanted to have...
Because it keeps them protected for your opponent's turn to shoot at.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if you're using big, heavy transports, Land Raiders, Repulsors, this sort of silly shit,
then I think it's...
potentially quite powerful for 1 CP.
Yeah, like you have 6 untargetable eradicators, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can be unloading them 12 inches from the enemy and getting that +1 to strength or whatever, I think it's very cool. It's not expensive either. 1 CP is
so it
very
says
decent.
end of the fight phase. So this can be done in either your turn or your enemy's turn, which is interesting to learn.
Yeah. It's just a way of getting more free movement and also jumping into a transport. May as well talk about the other transport one next then. Why don't we talk about that? Onslaught of Fire.
Yeah, go for it.
So in your shooting phase, 1 Adeptus starter unit from your army that disembarked from a transport this turn has not been selected to shoot until the end of the phase. Each time this model in the unit makes a ranged attack that targets the closest eligible within 12, add 1 to the hit roll. If 1 or more enemy models are destroyed as a result of those attacks, select 1 of those models and the destroyed unit must take a battle shock. So you jump out the transport with your eradicators, you pay 1 CP to get +1 to hit, or you have a captain with them, so it's a battle tactic, so it's free. You get +1 to hit. They also have to take battle shock, and then after that, you jump back in your transport.
Okay, and there's another transport strat.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Burning Vengeance.
On you go.
Go on,
Oh, so you declare this during your opponent's shooting phase, just after they've resolved their attacks. So they shoot at a transport. And that transport that has been shot at, what is inside it can get out and shoot what has shot the transport.
But can only shoot the closest target, the closest enemy unit.
Yeah, okay, sorry. Only shoot the closest enemy unit, and only if that is an eligible target, which is
But
fine.
that does amusingly mean... could you combine that with Onslaught of Fire?
No, because you have to pay that in your shooting phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas Burning Vengeance is your opponent's shooting phase.
But still, you could combine it in the way that you've got your eradicators. They hop out. So in your they hop out of your transport. They shoot at something. They kill something, and they hop back in the transport. And the opponent's like, "I'm not playing this game." Shoots at the transport, so they hop back out of the transport and shoot them as well.
You could, yeah, if you want to spend 3 CP doing that over the space of 4 CP doing that over the space. No,
it's just free.
No, 3 CP doing that over a couple of turns. Yeah, you can.
You run like you've probably not got 3 CP, but it's quite an amusing thing that you could theoretically do if you had a big stack of spare.
It's just messing around transport shenanigan tricks, which is fun.
It's amusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to do it because I don't know many transports that I would want to bring. Like, for example, if
you want to control your opponent, they're amusing.
Yeah.
But I'm not
the
sure
Impulsor's
how
open top anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to bother with this shenanigans with it. So the only thing I'd really want to use it on is a Rhino with a Devastator squad in it because they're top quality.
Mm-hmm.
Or a Repulsor with something in it.
Impulse with Hellblasters, Repulsor with anything in. Yeah.
The Land Raider Redeemer is going to be good now.
Anyway.
Yeah, Land Raider Redeemer. Yeah, that could do.
And that lets us on to the last stratagem, immolation protocols for 2 CP. Select 1 Adeptus to start his unit until the end of the phase. Torrent weapons have devastating wounds. So if you did have a Land Raider Redeemer, your Flamestorm cannons could potentially have dev wounds. Yeah. Someone told me that they were thinking of using this with aggressors with flamers, because aggressors with double flamers end up having...
Maybe Infernus Marines might be useful.
I like the idea of Infernus Marines in a drop pod.
Yeah, absolutely.
The cool thing about aggressors, though, is they are twin-linked, so you can fish for 6s.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And completely gets past the fact that they have no AP whatsoever. Yeah.
Yep. So, what are we calling this one? Storm Alt Force. What do we think
Storm
of?
Alt Force, yeah, which is
This is the one that everybody thinks is super strong. Everyone's got a big
I don't know
card.
if it's like super strong, but I definitely think it is strong, if that makes sense.
I like it because it's got a lot of raw hitting power.
Yeah.
But to get the most out of it, you have to be messing around with transports as well, which is a slightly limiting factor for me. That can be a good thing. That can absolutely be a good thing. But it is a restriction as well at the same time, because otherwise, if you're not messing around with transports and stuff, then you're not getting the full potential.
I know we're not really talking about the codex or anything as a whole, but it also synergizes really nicely with the special character, the Salamander special character. So if you're bringing
which one?
Oh yes, that's true. Vulcan?
Are we talking Vulcan? Are we talking Adrax?
To be fair, both of them are quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's Vulcan. It's his Forge Father ability. If you're in shooting phase, select 1 enemy unit within 24 visible to this model until the end of that phase. Each time a friendly Adeptus starts his model makes a ranged attack with Torrent or Melter, reroll wounds.
Yep, and that's an aura, is it?
No, it's just visible of him. So you pick a unit. So you pick an enemy within 24 inches and you get full reroll wounds against them with Torrent and Melter weapons.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a mini Oath of Moment, really.
Yeah. And that really does work very nicely with that detachment and things we just talked about. We were just joking about using devastating wounds on a load of flamethrower Infernus Marines. Well, let's have the Infernus Marines with the reroll wounds from the aggressors.
Yeah.
But I've got 10 of them.
Yeah, his other ability is pretty crazy as well, actually. You just pick an objective at the start of the battlefield, and while he's on it, he's got OC 10. Because reasons, I guess. Yep. He really loves that objective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he's quite good in a unit anyway. He's got an interesting flamethrower gauntlet. And he's got a pretty good melee weapon.
Yeah. Okay.
The amount of offensive firepower buffs that this detachment gives you, combined with the mobility it gives you to use it as well, makes this potentially extremely powerful.
Yeah.
All right, where are we putting it?
I mean, it's got to be at the top.
You think it's all the way up in Uber?
I struggle to put it into Uber simply because I don't think any of the Space Marine detachments are uber amazingly good. Does that make sense?
Are you comparing to the rest of the game, or are you comparing to the rest of Space Marines?
And that's kind of what. So I think it's it's arguably the best Space Marine one. I prefer the Jarred Spear, but is it the Jarred Spear or the Storm Spear? I can't remember which one. The tank one.
The tank one is the Storm Spear.
Yeah.
In this,
but it's arguably the best one. I think it just depends on what sort of list you're going to run. So it's very powerful for Space Marines, but our Space Marines that Uber anyway. To be fair, let's compare just to the Space Marine ones, and it's put it in Uber. I think maybe.
Where are you putting it, Mark?
I'd put it in Uber. I'm putting it in Uber on the basis that I'm comparing it solely against all the other Space Marine detachments.
Okay, all right, let's put it there, and let's move on to
Uard Spear.
No, that's a J. That's a J. That is.
It's a J, is it? Jarred Spear. Okay. Also known as the Vanguard Spearhead or the Raven Guard detachment.
Okay, you're the Raven Guard master, so tell us, is this good attachment, Mark?
Yes and no, but mainly yes. The reason why yes is because the army-wide buff of everything shooting at you from further than 12 inches having -1 to hit and having cover is great.
It's very strong, isn't it? It's like the whole army's got smoke screen.
Yeah.
Or
you
what?
stand
The
in the
whole
open,
of the
you
first
could be
turn or
a
something.
bright, shiny gold thing in the open, and you've got cover and -1 to hit. It's great. It's really powerful.
Okay. Blade driven deep. What's that do?
That gives the unit that this infantry has got infiltrators. So if you wanted to, for example, have a unit of Death Company deploy in the middle of the board, then you could do that.
Brilliant.
Or aggressors, or you could do it to the Assault Centurions because no character can join them. But that's the principle. Which is
right. Ghostleaf Cloak. The bearer has a stealth and lone operative ability. I mean, I guess that's cool if you just want a character to be an action monkey and do movie around
it's
stuff.
cool in one way, but by giving this to a character that doesn't already have lone operative, they tend to be leader characters, and you tend to want to take them to buff other units. Yeah. So you'd sort of lose a lot of that by making them lone ops. So on the one hand, it's good. On the other hand, it's counterintuitive. It's a tricky one to gauge, that one.
I don't think it's very good. To
give it, unless you wanted to give it to like a jump character or a character on a bike that you just wanted to be. That you just
Marine gets lone op if they're within 3 inches of a vehicle anyway.
Yeah, I'm thinking more about an action monkey. Like, could it be used on a character to jump around the place, do actions?
Yeah, potentially. Maybe. But then there are characters that can do that.
Anyway,
there are a few characters that can do that anyway. There's not loads.
I can't think of anything that I want to turn into that would benefit more than me bringing something that's got those sort of rules anyway, or an action monkey unit.
Yeah, okay, sure. Next up is a Phobos one that basically means after they shoot, they can make a normal move up to 6, but they can't charge.
Which is... It's alright.
It's fine. I guess, again, it's for like an action monkey type thing.
Yeah.
Shadow War Veteran. Once per battle, if your opponent uses a stratagem, until the end of the battle, increase that stratagem by 1 CP. Very strong. Basically,
as they call it, you get to vex them, which is great for 30 points. And if you take a Callous Assassin, they could do it as well. So you could just like make all of their strats cost, or 2 of their strats cost extra.
Down. Yeah, shut down.
So you could amusingly make Overwatch cost 3 CP.
Yes. And it's really powerful, and it's great. There's a lot of things in here that mess with and do tricks, which is great.
Okay, let's talk about their stratagems.
Okay, Armor of Contempt is a bit shit, really, so we don't have to talk about that.
Perfect.
Why is it a different order in this one?
Because it's alphabetical.
Yeah, but every other one's still at the top anyway. I know it's alphabetical, blah, 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 but they could just kept it in the same position just to not be confusing.
They did it to personally mess
I find it irritating and I don't like it.
Exactly.
How is it alphabetical? It goes AAS.
Because AD is before AR.
Okay, but only the first 2 are alphabetical.
What?
I've broken everybody.
No, you haven't. They're alphabetical within the categories. Anyway, whatever. So, you got like green ones and then blue ones and then red ones.
Oh, right. Okay, within the categories. Yeah, sure.
So, a deadly prize, 1 CP. Start the command phase, pick an infantry or mounted unit from your army, and they get to basically make an objective sticky and bomb it. Set mines upon it that do mortal wounds on the enemy whenever they go to it. And if they fail to control it and they go away and come back later, then they get bombed as well.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
They're not alphabetical even within categories.
All right, fine, whatever.
U comes after T. I'm not wrong, am I? Let me just... I'm sitting there going A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But U does come after T in the alphabet. T-U-V. So strike from the shadows should be before surgical strikes. They're both battle tactics, although for some reason They have different icons.
Surgical strikes is green and strike from the shadows is blue.
Who
Yeah,
knows?
but they're still battle tactics.
Okay, so you sabotage the objective while the objective marker is sabotaged.
I mean, 1 CP for making an objective sticky would be good.
Yeah.
So 1 CP for making it sticky and mining it is great, as far as I'm concerned.
It's
Good
like
strat.
the first company strat, but massively better because it does the same thing but with more stuff.
Yeah.
With an average of like 2 mortal wounds. Cool. Surgical strikes.
So let's say you've got a unit of 10 Death Company led by Lamatis or a Chaplain, and for 2 CP, you can give your entire unit of Death Company precision strikes.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Good for assassinate when you get it for turn 1, because that keeps happening. Strike from the shadows.
Strike from the shadows. So let's say you drop down a unit of 6 Inceptors with their big heavy boltery gun pistol things outside of 12 inches of what you want them to shoot at. For 1 CP, they then gain +1 ballistic skill and +1 AP.
Yeah, I mean,
and
that's
what
really...
they shoot at has to take a battle shock test.
Yeah, it's really good.
Brilliant. Great.
Good on Eradicators as well, -5 AP at that point.
Yeah.
Calculated feint.
Calculated feint is you get to run away when someone comes near you. Well, not strictly true. In your opponent's charge phase, if they declare a charge, then for 1 CP, the unit that they've selected as a charge that is infantry can make a roll a d6 and run away that far as a normal move. Or if they're a Phobos or a scout unit, they get to run away the full 6 inches.
Nice. And then guerrilla tactics is guerrilla tactics as we all know it, right?
Yeah, for 1 CP, you get to pick up a unit at the end of your opponent's fight phase and put them in strategic reserves, or 2 units if they're Phobos and or scouts. But scouts get to do that themselves for free anyway, so you probably don't want to do that for scouts.
Yep. So you pick them up at the end of the opponent's fight phase, so it's better than it was before, and then...
So you pick up your Inceptors and then drop them down again later, or you pick up your Sanguinor and drop it down again later, or whatever you want to do.
But it's sort of circumvented that thing that we had last edition where you had to wait around for a whole turn. You can pick them up at the end of turn 3, put them down and start a turn 4. It's nice.
Indeed. It does technically put them into strategic reserves, so you do have to obey the strategic reserves restrictions.
Yep.
But if you have the deep strike ability, then you can ignore that anyway and just come in on wherever on the board you like.
Okay, so the Jarred Spear... So it is?
Yeah, the Jarred Spear.
Yeah, the Vanguard Spearhead, or Jarred Spear.
So where do we think Jar Spear are?
I really like everything it does. It's tricky as all hell. It messes with your opponent. Very little of it actually provides actual killing buffs.
Or scoring buffs.
Well, there's a sticky bombing thing.
All right, there's a sticky bombing strat.
So, I mean, guerrilla tactics and moving around... I guess you could perform a bit more actions.
Yeah, I mean, guerrilla tactics does, to be fair. I just completely forgot about that one.
Is it just play average?
No,
No. I think it's functional.
It's either functional or Uber.
I think it's
functional. Really good. Everything
Uber.
it does is useful in some way, but it's not. Most of it is not directly useful to winning the game. You got to think a lot and try and work around playing tricksy with your opponent.
It can win you the game, but it can make it harder for your opponent to win the game, if that makes sense.
The Firestorm is kill, death, burn.
But with a nice slide order of moving.
Sort of like dancey, movie, tricksy thing, which makes
we've got the Vil Siegefall down there in Terrible Beer because it gives a lot of buffs to killing things, but doesn't give any buffs to scoring points. We've got the Storm Alt Force up in Uber because it gives lots of buffs to killing things, but also does incentivize you to scoring points. It doesn't negate your ability to score points.
Yeah, the mobility gives you as well in doing so.
Yeah, the Jarred Spear doesn't really give you any killing stuff. It gives you a little bit of movement and taking points buffs, but it does make it harder for your opponent to play their strategies. So I don't. It
gives you a massive tool set, but it's going to be tricky to make use of unless you're really, really good at and know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit matchup dependent as well.
Okay, all right.
What do you think about it?
I think I'll give it functional tier. I don't think it's Uber by any. I don't think it has enough.
Reasoning?
It doesn't have the killing power. It's got one offensive strat. That's it. And I don't like that, I guess.
And the defensive, the defensive buff is really good. But
do you know what?
It doesn't win games.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's not going to be that good after sort of the first turn or so because you've got to get in there and take those objectives. And once you're taking the objectives, especially around the centre and that, then your buffs are not actually going to be doing anything.
Yeah. No, they start falling off. That's true. Yeah. So yeah, I'll give it. Are we happy with the functional tier?
Yeah, I'll take that compromise.
Okay. Let's talk about the Storm Spear then,
or the Iron Storm Spearhead, or Iron Hands Detachment.
The Storm Spear's a better name. I'm sorry, it just is.
yeah, maybe that's fair.
It's a mouthful. Iron Storm Spearhead. All right, what does Iron Storm Spearhead do for us?
Effing brilliant.
Are they that good? Are they?
Oh yeah. Once per phase, each Adeptus Astartes unit in your army can re-roll 1 hit roll, 1 wound roll, or 1 damage roll for a model in that unit.
Yep.
Once per phase. Not once per phase. Once per phase. That's phenomenally powerful.
Each shooting phase.
Your shooting phase. That's your fighting phase. That's your opponent's fighting phase. Yeah. Have we got a way of fighting back or shooting back in their shooting phase as well?
We do indeed. Yeah. They've got a way of
that too.
Yes. And also in Overwatch.
Yeah.
It just makes everything you do that bit more reliable.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. If you were using a Gladiator Lancer, for example, which already gets to choose 1 hit, 1 wound, or 1 damage, then essentially you have 2 wounds, 2 hits, 2 damage to choose from, right? So
essentially.
When you've got something like that that's already got some reliability built in, having this on top is just going to make because with the Gladiator Lancer you only have 2 shots.
Maybe it's a bad bonus. I mean, Eradicators don't benefit from it at all. That makes it shit, right?
Well, wait until we get this first enhancement. The lethal hits for Tech Marines for all vehicles within 6 is absolutely bonkers. It's 40 points, but you could literally have a Tech Marine. If you think of him in the middle of a 12-inch diameter bubble, because that's what it is, 6 inches around him. How many
slightly more
tanks?
Than 12 inches. It's more like 13 inches because of the size of the base.
Because he's 1.5 inches, yeah. But how many more? When I said I was going to field this,
that extra 1.5 inches makes a difference. You don't want to discount an extra inch, really. Do
yeah, I mean
would you spend your life going? Do you know what? I don't want another inch.
Yeah,
1 more inch would be negative. That'd be downside.
A little bit more diameter.
I mean,
a little bit more diameter. Yeah, I just think that if I'm playing this, I'm going to have 4 vehicles hugging that Tech Marine.
Yeah,
and
there is one downside.
Enjoying that extra inch.
Oh yeah, there is one downside to this, and downside is that vehicles, as a rule, move faster than the Tech Marine walks.
I mean, he just advances. He just runs after them.
Yeah.
You're
not wrong.
He's fine.
But it is something to bear in mind.
It is.
Okay, next up, the flesh is...
It's very expensive, but potentially quite powerful, especially on units that have got lots of shots.
Yeah.
Like Astraeus.
The flesh is weak. You can give an Adeptus Astartes model a 4-up Feel No Pain. Great. Brilliant.
10 points. Fuck yeah. It's great. Really good.
It's cool. Just characters aren't what they were, right? Most of your characters are in your squads.
Yeah.
I guess... I don't know what you put this on.
But if I'm not putting the target augury web on my Tech Marine, I'm going to put the Flesh is Weak on it so he can hug my Astraeus.
Yeah,
and it'd be much harder to snipe out.
Okay, deal. But you're going to put the aura on him, and then you're going to, if you don't put the aura on him, you're going to want this next one, the
reason
Omnissiah.
why I'm not going to take the Flesh is Weak is because I'm taking all the other enhancements in this list.
Yes, correct.
But I'm running 3 Tech Marines.
So
I can take all the other 3.
No, you can only take 3 enhancements because the army building rules say you can only take 3 enhancements.
Yes,
that's part of the core 40k.
So I'm going to take the target augury, the Flesh is Weak, and the Adept of the Omnissiah.
I'd take Master Machines Adept of the.
Would you?
Anyway, yeah.
Well, let's find out.
Okay.
Omnissiah basically means that when you fail a save, you can change the damage characteristic for a vehicle to 0. So when they eventually do hit you with like a 9 damage Gladiator Lancer round, you just say, no, that attack does 0 damage. You can do that once per battle round. Cool.
Yeah, great.
And then the Master of Machines, which I think I agree with Mark here, is super strong. I would actually put this on a jump unit.
Yeah.
Because basically an Adeptus Astartes vehicle is within 6 inches of the bearer. That vehicle unit is eligible to shoot even if it fell back or advanced. And hear me out, Tony. Turn 1, everything will advance forward. We can still shoot it.
turn 2 or beyond, if you think of a jump unit moving 12, advancing probably like 3, so you can do 15 inches, plus 6, plus whatever my vehicle can fall back 8. Let's say most vehicles can move at least 8, I would think. So 8 plus 12 plus 6 plus 3, you're basically telling me 29 inches from where my jump character starts the turn, I can have any single vehicle fall back and shoot.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it could be quite powerful, but I don't feel that I have many vehicles that are in particularly need to fall back and shoot that often. You know, we were talking about earlier on, like, okay, yeah, sure. If I've managed to get my ballistas into melee, then yeah, probably it'd be useful having him fall back and shoot. But generally, I'm trying to keep my ballistas not in melee, you know, and he's got quite long range guns, so I'm keeping him a fair way back.
Counterpoint, if you've got a bubble of attack marine type things buffing vehicles around it, then I would double down on that and go with those 3 enhancements rather than the Flesh is Weak. The Flesh is Weak is really good.
Yeah.
I just think
it only costs 10 points.
Taken better altogether.
Okay. Yeah. All right. The stratagems are all good, I think.
All good?
Yeah, the first one, Unbowed Conviction. 1 Adeptus Start unit from your army is below starting strength until the end of the turn. You can ignore any or all modifiers, characteristics, and or any rolls or tests made for it. So I guess like if you have an Astraeus tank that's on 1 wound, you would just pay 1 CP and fire at full profile.
Yeah, that's really powerful.
Mercy's Weakness. 1 Adeptus Start unit from your army in your shooting phase or the fight phase until the end of the phase. Each time a model in the unit makes an attack that targets a unit that is below starting strength. That attack is sustained hits 1, and if it's a vehicle, it's critical hits of 5s. So the enemy Terminators charged you, you killed one of them. Now you're just going to stay in combat and shoot them, and you're going to get sustained hits on 5s. Yeah, that's great.
Or just another little edge case in here. You've got a Whirlwind. It's re-rolling a hit, wound, or damage roll because it's part of this detachment, and it kills a model in a squad. Suddenly, that squad is below starting strength and is therefore a viable target for this strat, which is 1 CP, and then gets nuked to fuck.
Yep. Vengeful Animus. So basically, you can just trigger the Deadly Demise on any vehicle whenever you want. You no longer have to roll a d6. This was amazing when we used to have it before.
Just for this.
Yeah, just every time your vehicles die, just blow them up. It's especially good if you take an Astraeus or even a Thunderhawk, I guess, Tony.
Yeah.
How many mortal wounds does a Thunderhawk do in explosion?
I don't know.
I'll check.
I haven't got the list handy.
I know the Astraeus does d6 plus 2 mortals on Deadly Demise.
Why do you know that, John?
Because I thought for 1 CP to do a bubble of... I think how big an Astraeus is, Mark. It's maybe like 10 or 12 inches long. So you're telling me that I can have like a 25-inch bubble of d6 plus 2 mortal wounds for 1 CP. I mean, I'm just going to run my Astraeus headlong towards you, and you're going to have to get the hell away from it, because if you're in 6 inches when it goes, you're going to take like average 6 mortal wounds.
Thunderhawk is also d6 plus 2.
Yeah. So
it takes up most of the board, which is part of its problem.
Oh yeah.
This thing on its explosion could do 20 mortal wounds, I think. Quite simply.
Yeah, you're blowing up a 600-point tank, but yeah.
I mean, it's going to die inevitably.
Intentionally.
Ancient Fury is a cool one. You do it on your walker. It's kind of reminiscent of when you could make the Dreadnought a character. Until the start of your next command phase, this will happen both your turn and your opponent's turn. You improve their move, toughness, save, leadership, and an OC by 1. And each time this model makes an attack, you add 1 to the hit roll.
That's nuts.
It can't improve your save beyond 2+, though.
Oh yeah, sure, but you put this on a Redemptor that's got -1 damage taken.
Yeah.
The Redemptor's got a base save of 2 up.
Yep.
You get it in cover. You put Armor of Contempt on it. You put Ancient Fury on it. You're ignoring 3 points of AP. And you still want to take a 2-up save.
I was going to say on your toughness 11.
That's disgusting.
The OC is good as well, actually, in this one, because it's a really good buff to walkers. I think it's really good on the Brutalis Dreadnought as well, actually.
Yeah.
Just because it makes it faster, and again toughness 11, and again more OC, and again +1 to hit if you get into melee with those Brutalis claws. +1 to hit's going to help. And Power of the Machine Spirit is flat out broken AF at the moment. And I'll tell you why it's broken. Because they removed Overwatch for Titanic, because Overwatch on Titanic was too strong for 1 CP. This strat says the second you drop below half health for 1 CP, you can shoot back as if it were shooting phase. So you have your Astraeus tank with +1 to hit from a Tech Marine that was nearby. The second they drop it below half health, your Astraeus just shoots as if it was your shooting phase, and then obviously the Tech Marine repairs it up above half, meaning if they drop it below half again, you do it again. So a free round of shooting for a super heavy tank or the Thunderhawk gunship, as Tony loves to run. This will get FAQ'd. That shouldn't be usable on Titanic units.
Fuck, but all right, okay. It's tasty. I'm not sure it's like game-breakingly powerful.
If you drop an Astraeus tank to less than half, you will instantly lose whatever you just shot at it. The Astraeus tank's got like 4 las cannons. It's got like 12 shots from that twin accelerator cannon. It's got like double heavy bolter. Like, I think the Astraeus tank could probably do like somewhere in the region of like 70 damage a turn for shooting, right?
All right.
I think it's pretty broken.
Okay, fair enough.
Remember, you're still getting your detachment ability when you shoot back in this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think so?
I think
One
it's really
CP?
powerful.
I think it's really, really powerful. I'm not sure it'll take you to the top spot in a tournament.
Oh no, I don't think it. I think it's probably quite niche, but it's yeah. You get
the things it's really broken on are stuff like your Astraeus, but nobody's going to run an Astraeus because it's 550 points, and if you're running the full Games Workshop amount of terrain, it can't really go anywhere to score you any points. It's just everything in this corridor is gonna die.
True. I guess even if you were running like a Land Raider or an Executioner, if you drop them below half health, you're going to take, what's a Land Raider got? 4 las cannons and like twin heavy bolter. 4 las cannons with your full shooting buffs and your detachment ability. That's a lot of damage potentially for 1 CP.
For 1 CP, it's a decent amount of damage out there.
Yeah. It's absolutely a good strat.
Yeah.
I
don't think it's broken because the things that it would be broken on, we don't really run.
Okay.
Plus,
I think it's broken.
Sometimes it'll be useful, and sometimes your vehicle's just dead.
I suppose. Okay. Well, that's the detachment. Where do you put it?
I'd put it up with the Sturm Alt Force.
Yeah, I kind of think it's up there in the Uber tier.
I think it's the best one, to be honest.
It buffs offensive power maybe a little bit more than the Storm Spear.
Yeah.
No, sorry, than the Storm Alt Force. Doesn't have as much mobility benefits, if any, but
it's going to depend on what sort of list you're running. But at the moment, I'm running really heavy. Unless I'm being daft, I'm running lots of other crazy shit. I'm generally running a lot more vehicles, which are going to gain a lot from this than the Storm Alt Force, which isn't going to get. They're not going to get quite as much from that because they're not often as close. So this is going to buff the sorts of lists that I'm running, and I think a lot of people are running a lot more than the Storm Alt Force would. I feel like I don't have to build around this because I just slap this on my army and it does better. Whereas the other one I have to build around, and that build around it, I don't feel is as strong as a vehicle heavy build at the moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I could agree with all that. So we think it's the strongest one.
Well, I do. I don't know what anybody else thinks.
I think it's stronger than the Storm Alt Force, yeah. Okay, so it's going to go at the very top, and then last, but definitely not least.
Indeed, the odious
Task 4.
The odious Task 4, yeah.
The odious Task 4. Yeah, perfect.
I think it's Task 4.
Geus
to me, that looks like a D.
Deus Task 4. Okay. Have you played anything
if
Deus
the
Task
U
Force?
on Vanguard is a J, then this is a J as well.
Oh, okay. Geus Task Force.
Yeah, J has that as well.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I'll go with that. So it's a Jewish Task 4. Juice Task 4.
Juice. All right, the Juice Task 4, of which John is one of the biggest proponents for. Rightly so.
Yeah, I was going to say. So nothing changed beyond they changed of bolter discipline to fire discipline, and I believe it went up 5 points.
Yeah.
So the
Which was
advantage of this
deserved.
detachment is the flexibility in that you get 1 turn of Devastator, which is advance and shoot all your guns.
Yep.
You get 1 turn of fallback and charge.
Yep.
Or fallback and shoot and charge. It's worth
Yep.
mentioning that it's shoot and charge, not just charge.
Yep.
And then you also get the 1 turn of advance and charge.
Yep.
So it's like throughout the game, typically in turn 1 or turn 2, you need to advance and shoot all your tanks.
Yep.
At some point, you get a bunch of stuff in combat you don't want to be in combat, so you want to fall back, shoot, and potentially charge. And then at some point in the game, you inevitably want to make some long charges, so you've got Assault Doctrine. So it's literally, you have 3 amazing doctrines that it's all about using and learning and using them at the right time. I don't ever use Artificer Armor. That gives you a 2-up save and a 5-up feel no pain.
Yep.
I don't ever... Do you know what? I have used Honor of Aim a couple of times to give 1 additional attack and 1 additional strength.
Okay.
And it's 2 additional attacks and 2 additional strength in the Assault Doctrine, which could give you like 10 attacks on a Strength 10 Power Fist. Sorry, not 10 attacks. 6 attacks on a Strength 10 Power Fist. So Honor of Ailment is okay. Adept of the Codex I've literally never used because
I don't use that either.
I feel like if I need, because there's a stratagem that lets you put a unit into any into any doctrine, this one's kind of like 20 points to put you into one doctrine at a specific point. I think you're better just paying the CP when you need it. And obviously you take Fire Discipline on any unit that can do a lot of firepower. It's very, very good. Comboed with putting that unit into Devastator Doctrine, using a captain to do the battle tactics means that you can just throw out a ton of firepower. It works best on Eradicators, Aggressors. People were using it on Sternguard, but not so much now. And people were using it on Desolation Marines, but not so much now.
I think Hellblasters can get quite.
Hellblasters, I think I heard Dark Angels were using it with Hellblasters, but
anything that puts out a high volume of fire will benefit from it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So Armor of Contempt is a core strat I use all the time in this detachment. Only in Death is Duty End, which is Fight on Death for 2 CP. I literally never use it. I thought I would use it loads in this edition, but honestly, it doesn't come up all that often. I don't know.
The problem with it is,
why?
Apart from the 2 CP cost, it's when you have to declare it makes it a real difficult strat to use properly.
Yep, and
just clarify that for people because they might not know when it is that, and that's why that's a problem.
So you have to choose to spend 2 CP after the enemy has chosen which units they're fighting, but before it's made its attack. So you don't know if your character's going to die or not, and you have to spend 2 CP right then and there on the chance that your character.
I think that's the problem. You're banking on, so the enemies come in, they've charged you, and you're going to go, I think you're going to wipe me.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend 2 your CP, and we haven't got that many CP in this edition.
Nope.
And then they fluff their rolls, and it doesn't do anything.
If it was 1 CP, it'd be useful. I'm not sure it'd be broken.
I don't
2
feel.
CP, I'm going to give it no value.
I don't feel I can generally justify speculating with 2 CP.
No, you can't. And CP are so limited now, so I've literally never used it. Honor the Chapter is very useful if you're in the Assault Doctrine and you need plus to wound, because you get the Lance ability and also it gives you 1 AP, so Honor the Chapter is decent in any combat you desperately need to win. Adaptive Strategy is probably the second most used one next to Armor of Contempt, because any unit at any time into any doctrine, there's going to be a unit you want to advance and shoot. There's going to be a unit you want to advance and charge. There's going to be a unit you want to fall back and charge and shoot.
For me, it's adaptive strategy is for sticking the unit that I've got my Fire Discipline guy on into Devastator Doctrine every turn.
Yeah, totally.
Basically. I mean, technically, At some point, that unit will die, and then after that happens,
somebody else. But
it's very, very useful. Even your example of the Ballistus Dreadnought earlier. When you pay that on the Ballistus, now your Ballistus can fall back and shoot without no -1, and then tank shock on his way back into combat. So it's just like for 1 CP, you're increasing that unit's potential damage output by, I guess, a significant amount. Storm of Fire is the one that you use to, in Devastator Doctrine, improve AP and ignore cover. Very, very strong. Use it on the Aggressors or Eradicators again. And then Squad Tactics is actually pretty strong as well. Anytime anything ends within your 9 inches of your infantry, because I don't play mounted, but mounted as well, you can move 6 inches if you're in Tactical Doctrine, or D6. Now, this is very much like Fire and Fade in Eldar. you might just be able to. You might look at it and go, well, if I roll 2 here, that unit that he's just moved in to charge me will now have a really difficult charge.
Yeah.
And or maybe I'll just be able to nip behind a wall and move out of line of sight.
Yeah.
So the second the enemy moves within 9 inches of you, it's kind of important it's 9 inches though, because the first time it came up, someone put units down to deep strike against me, and I was like, oh balls, they have to be out with 9.
Yeah.
But if you're playing against Chaos and they're doing that Shadow of the Warp shenanigans and they're going to deep strike within 9, the second they put their guys up on the battlefield, I'll just be like, right, well, I'm just going to shimmy back from all your Chaos bullshit.
Yeah. Or Inceptors. Yeah.
So squad tactics is.
And there's a number of detachments that we've spoken about this evening that have got similar stratagems to this that allow them to move in reaction. So yeah, they're always good.
I was going to say it's a bit swingy because you have to roll the d6 if you're not in tactical, but if you're in tactical, it's brilliant. And
No, I agree. I think Gladius is really quite strong, isn't it? It's a really solid. Or whatever list you've built, it will probably do quite well in Gladius. It's got something for everybody.
It's funny that you're right, because I was saying that like it really sucks how little melee options are in this codex. But Gladius is the one that's got like, hey, we can do more damage in Devastator, or we can do more damage in Assault. Like it actually has both as stratagems. So yeah, I'm playing Gladius. I like it. I kind of wanted to play Storm Spear to this tournament I'm going to, probably like a week from filming this.
Yep.
But I'm just going to stick with Gladius, or Deus Task Force, as we so enduringly named it.
Juice Task Force. Juice Task Force.
And I'd put it probably top of the functional tier. I don't know if I say it's uber.
Yeah, it doesn't inherently increase your offensive output just as blatantly as the Storm Ult Force or the Storm Spear, but it gives you so many flexible tactical tools to do what you want when you want in the right place at the right time. You can't dismiss it in the slightest.
If I want an all-rounder army for an all-rounder list that's a really super balanced, I think this is really strong.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as strong as the Storm Spear or the Storm Ult Force for an army that's built to take the most out of the Storm Spear or Storm Ult Force, if that makes sense.
But if you want to potentially take on any army that you could in any situation, then
with a nice balanced thing, then I think this is a really strong option for any army.
So you're happy with the top of the functional tier?
Top of the functional for me as well.
I'd go with that.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Right.
That's it.
So we got 3 pretty terrible ones. 2
I feel really bad
ones,
about that Bill
really...
Siege 4, because people are going to go, again, you look at the comments, going to go, you can't put that there. It's really powerful. It does loads of damage on Planet Bowling Ball. Is the problem. You know, we're not Tau.
Yeah, I mean, the terrain, that one's just super terrain dependent. And there are detachments like that, I guess.
If we're worried about comments, then we need to stop talking all over each other as well, because that's the problem that we have regularly.
Stick, didn't we?
Oh, yeah, we didn't do our talking stick. Can I use a talking nail file, because I don't have a stick tonight? Would that work?
Yes, you can. I will ignore it, but you can totally use
it. Put it on my head.
Yeah.
You can do it with it. Just,
no, you got to stick it down your glasses. So it's like pointing. Yeah.
I was going to say, can I do the whole podcast with a nail file on my head? Probably, actually.
You can. Yeah.
I mean, you can do a lot of
crazy
things.
people. You were so worried about what you can do, you didn't stop to think about what you should do.
Happy days. Yeah. So, would you guys ever play the Lance K Force, the Company K Force, or the Village Siege Force?
I've already played the Company K Force.
And what did you think of it?
I was rubbish, but I don't care. I wasn't playing it because I thought it was going to be good.
Okay, you just played it because you like Terminators.
I just played it because I think Terminators are cool. Are you going to say this for me yet, John?
I need you. I can't think of Ewan McGregor's accent from
because
there was
I'm going to drop you a hint
in that movie.
Just do it in your own
Scottish
and play it up a bit.
I was going to say I want to listen.
Come on,
if I want to listen to it.
No, you're just trying to bottle out.
No. I want to listen to it so I can try and do his bad accent. Hold on. Right, I got to mute myself so I don't get copyrighted.
Into an incentive, so like if we get
talk
so
amongst
many
yourself for a second.
Requests or Patreon requests or super chats or something to get John to do this, then we'll do this as a proper video or something. Should we not do this for free right now?
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you want us to make John do it, then please comment in the thing with make John do the intro from Trainspotting.
Yeah.
And then when we've done that, we can see what else we can make him say.
Absolutely. if we get a substantial super chat or something along those lines,
I
somewhere.
don't even care that. I just want people to bully John into doing it.
I was going to say,
I know,
you've
but
never
if
seen
financial
if there's
incentive.
financial pressure, then he will absolutely do it. You know that.
Yeah, we'll do stuff for money. Yeah.
Is there anything you will not do for money, John?
There's a few lines. Do you remember the original Star Trek where they're just like, Captain, I just can't do it. Don't have the power. It's like the really bad Scottish accent done by the Canadians.
Leave
I
some
always loved
comments,
that.
everybody, for stupid speeches you would love to hear all three of us do, or just one of the specific ones.
I'm sorry to say this, Mark, but you and I have got fairly nondescript accents.
So have I.
Yeah, we're boring when we compare ourselves to the phenomenal.
I was going to say, do you want me to do the? How does it go? It's like, would you trade all the days from this day to that for one chance?
There's been a murder.
Do you know what? I saw an interview on the TV about the Scotland game on the Euros the last few weeks, and someone was like interviewing just some random punter on the side of the street, like, "Hey, do you think Scotland are going to win the football tonight?" He just starts going with that Braveheart speech, right? Two random guys just join in from like out of nowhere. They're like, "Would you trade all the days?" And I was like, "Okay, Scotland, you're a bit mental, aren't you?"
I was looking when I was trying to find that quote. I ended up on IMDb because it's got the quote thing, and it's got the Scottish rant on there as well. The whole "it's shite being Scottish" one.
Oh right, yeah. When they're at the river, and I've not seen that movie in ages, but I know, yeah.
And I really wanted to get you to say that, but all I could see was loads of complaints in the credits for saying that Scottish people are wretched, miserable, servile, pathetic trash that was ever shat into civilization. I just sort of thinking that's probably not going to.
I was going to say, if it's said by a Scottish person, it's probably.
Hang on. Have we found the line for the things you will not say in this stream for fear of comment?
Hang on, I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in the chat, and then John can say it. But I still want that intro at some point, so we need to bully him into it.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, we'll come up with a new intro, which is a parody.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a new intro, which is a parody.
Yeah.
Of
suggestions in comments in the Blood Angels Discord, somewhere we can see them and pay attention to them. If they come with money, then we'll pay more attention to them. If they come from Patreon, we'll pay more attention to them. And all that sort of stuff.
But we'll pay attention to them regardless. It's fine.
We answer every comment, often with sarcasm.
Yeah.
Have you seen the comment now, John?
Hold on. Did we answer the guy that told us that we all talked over each other?
We did, and he replied, actually.
Oh, did he?
What did he say?
He
What
did.
did he say? Tell me what he said.
I haven't got my phone now.
What did we say?
His reply, stop taking the piss out of me quite so much for an entire episode, you bastards.
You did touch a nerve. You touched my special nerve that gives me a tingly feeling.
You touched all the nerves that make us speak over each other.
James May used to say about the fizzy feeling.
Okay.
Please keep commenting. We love you. Please do it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You are a much valued member of our audience.
You are.
I was going to say
no sarcasm. Seriously.
I was going to say
there isn't sarcasm. We absolutely value our viewers. We value everyone who comments, and we do read every comment.
It's true. We worryingly do.
And we do actually listen to when people say things like blah blah blah. I think it'd be good if you did this, or we prefer if you did this, or this. Or
the reason why we watch it so much is because we're really sensitive souls, and it like cuts us to the quick. I mean, it's like really quite windy.
Sensitive. I'm trying to make John say it's shite being Scottish.
It's shite being Scottish. I actually don't think it's that bad.
No, I quite like Scottish. Beautiful scenery. And I'm terrified of the Scottish, and I would never say anything bad because they will beat me up.
Yeah, because I'm going to be in Scotland in a week's time. Yeah,
that
would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, so be careful, or a Glaswegian will give you a kiss.
I'll be in a scout camp with a lot of Glaswegians. Yeah, that's probably not a good thing. If I've offended them.
There's
I've not.
a story, but please, there's some reason that you're hanging around in a scout camp.
Yeah, that's the venue where we do our 40k live roleplay.
Right. Let's not describe it as the scout camp then, because otherwise you're going to get an interesting reputation.
But that's what it is.
It's a campsite that's often used by the scouts.
Whatever, fine, okay.
I'm just getting our phrasing.
I was going to say, you're way too worried about politically correctness.
I'm not being politically correct. I just don't want John to go around saying, Mark to hang around going, I love going away with those scouts. Those little Boy Scouts. And...
It's just full of grown-up nerds with Nerf guns and rubber swords hitting each other.
Are you taking your big giant hammer?
Yes.
Wicked.
And my wrist-mounted flamer.
I haven't seen the wrist-mounted flamer.
Have you not?
No. I've seen the hammer.
No, I've got this. A mate sorted me out a what is basically a Warhound Titan Inferno flamer thing.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And got a little set of arm things on it, and it straps onto my forearm like this, and clicks in there. And you're going. It's great.
It's brilliant.
It's the best gun possible for wielding a two-handed warhammer with, and being able to shoot at the same time.
Because you can hit people while they, and probably you, are on fire.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't need to worry about putting the hammer down or taking one hand off the hammer to draw a gun and shoot and then put the gun away.
Have you thought about joining the Storm Alt Force?
I have not, no, because my character is a member of the Ecclesiarchy and is a humble missionary, and therefore not eligible to join any Astartes battle tactic formations.
I love that you dropped the name out there.
What?
I don't even know why I found that so funny, but just the fact that you're still using the wrong names and you didn't miss a beat. I just found that hilarious. It's too late.
Considering we were worried that we only had 7 things to talk about. And
yes. Okay, on that note,
2 hours of nonsense. And I hope everyone's learnt a lot from it.
Yes.
This beer was terrible. Nobody was in the naughty corner.
Nope.
And decidedly average. Amusingly had nothing in it.
All right, we'll catch you in the next one, guys. 2 weeks' time.
Indeed.
Be here. And please like or subscribe. We do really appreciate it.
Indeed.
Or subscribe. I like that.
Do
like
more of this crap
both.
to amuse you while you're doing whatever you're doing when you're listening to this or watching this.
Subscribe responsibly.
Cheers, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Bye.